All right, I promised you an ArchHud tutorial, so that is what we're going to do today. No jokes on this one, because my life is already a joke enough. Cue cymbal crash. Hello Villanovians, my name is Rob and welcome to another video of my tutorial series. This time we're talking about Arch Orbital HUD, which is a spin-off of the DU Orbital HUD created by ArchHud. I think I said it right that time, maybe? Anyway, I'm going to be posting the link to where you can get this HUD in the description, so just go down there, click on the link, and it will take you to this page right here. So we're going to get right in and talking about where you get this, and then we'll go on to what it does, how to use it, etc., etc., etc. So if you are on this page, it has a list of features and stuff like that. If you scroll down enough, it tells you how to install. We're going to go over that anyway. It tells you all of the keyboard shortcuts and such. And I'm not going to go through every single one of those right now because we'll talk about that in a flight example. But yeah, if you need a reference, this page is good to figure out stuff. There is also a reference built into the script that tells you how to use it. Now with this, I am not going to talk about anything with DU Orbital. I already have a video on that. If you want to go check it out, you can. It is a rather old version. But nonetheless, it's still viable, but I'm not going to reference back to that or talk about any of that stuff. We're just going to treat this as a separate standalone tutorial for ArchHud only. Okay, so what do you do to get this? Well, when you're on this page, you go over here to Releases. You click on the Releases, right? If you want to get all of them. It tells you how to install again, how to install for a cockpit, which is new, how to install for sound support, which I don't use because I don't need weird sounds talking to me while I'm flying, and stuff like that. You can get the change list and whatsoever. So the thing we want is this ArchHud.conf, right? If you click on that, it'll go ahead and download it to your computer. Then you just open that up and you drag it into the folder, which is referenced in here, right here. That's where you want to put it. Once you have done that, we can go back into the game, right? And we're going to be using the Ixion warp shuttle for this. Because it does have orbital capability. Why is there like a weird strip of white carbon fiber right there? That's I kind of want to know how I did that, because that's interesting. Anyway, let's go ahead and hop in this ship and we'll talk about installation. So what do you need for installation? You need a seat and you need a data bank. So let's go ahead and remove those and start from scratch. All right, let's get into build mode. All right, so we'll go ahead and remove the chair, and we'll remove the correct data bank. Always label your things. On other ships I have labeled, but I guess this ship is old enough that I did not label these. So let's see which one is linked. It looks like this one is being used for damage report. So let's go ahead and remove that one. And then I'm just going to go ahead and remove dynamic properties on both of these. And then put them back down. Boop, boop. All right, there we go. Let's pop out. Oh, all right. So you're going to want to put a chair down. You're going to put a data bank down. And let me go ahead and rename this element to ArchHud, right? And then we're going to go ahead and link the chair to the data bank, and we're going to link the chair to anything that you want prioritized. So when you run the auto config, it's going to link a bunch of stuff based on programming or things, you know. But if you have certain things that you want to be linked to the chair, you want to do that before you install the script. So I would like this linked to my space radar. I mean my not space radar, my regular radar. Boop. And I want this linked to my warp drive. And again, it might auto do that with the auto configure, but I just like to make sure, because if you have a ton of components on your ship and you run the auto config, it's gonna install components based on priority, and sometimes some of this stuff gets missed. And if you're doing any like side coding or something like that, you want a button linked to the seat or something like that, you would want to link that first. Anyway, for now, I just want to link the I don't remember what that button does. Anyway, getting distracted. I just want to link the radar and the warp drive. Oh, and I want to link that door. Because if you link a door, it'll automatically open and close when you get in the seat, thanks to the code, right? All right, so once we've done all of the linking, we're going to go ahead and right-click, go to Advanced, and run Custom Auto Config. Right here, you'll see that it is already in here because it's in the right folder. If you're not seeing that, you want to click on Update Custom Auto Config List. It's going to pull the information from that folder. If you're still not seeing it, you probably put it in the wrong folder. So go back to the GitHub page and try again. So we're going to go ahead and click on this, boop, and it is now configured. And you can see it's now linked to a couple different things. Now we've got the core, the fuel tanks, some engines, whatever it feels is pertinent to link there. And once we've done that, it is now ready. So before you get in the seat, you want to set all of your settings. You can go to Edit Lua Parameters, and everything's displayed in a nice little box here. Personally, and don't ask me why, I actually like to go into the Lua code. So I hit Control L, and I go to Unit and Start, and then I just edit it inside the Lua code because it's just, I don't know, I like looking at it this way instead of the click box. So I'll turn this to Keyboard, and that's just me personally, and I'll turn Brake Toggle to False. And I will turn atmospheric speed limit to 1300 because I know that's what this ship can handle. And then you can set your auto takeoff altitude and hover height and all this other stuff. And it's just nice to look at this way. I don't know, I can see what the defaults are and all that stuff, right? And then I don't touch anything else really. You can, if you want to play around, obviously you can set your fuel tank handling, which this should be all 4s. Container optimization 5. No, wait, this is 4 on this ship because I haven't updated it yet. And fuel tank optimization 4. All right. And then I'll go ahead and hit apply. I'm going to go ahead and hop in the seat. Doop. And it should load all of those settings, regardless of whether or not I was in the seat before. Now, the nice thing about ArchHud over the previous HUD that I was using, if you're using DU Orbital, you kind of have to reset the data bank every time you make changes. So you have to wipe it, make the changes, then get out of the seat in order for it to correctly save. This seems to have no problem, and I think it's because it's auto-wiping the data bank, I think. Don't quote me on that. The only person who really knows is ArchHud. But if you make a change in the priorities or whatever, it seems to update as soon as you get out of the seat. It seems to wipe the data bank and restore all of the settings instead of you having to manually wipe it every time you update. All right, so now that we're in here, we can see this is the HUD that we're looking at. Let me go into third person view here, so we can see everything, right? And I'll hit tab here so I can, nope, I'm gonna hit alt. There we go. So right here you have your fuel tanks displayed in a graphical interface instead of just numbers. That's not right. So I may need to reapply talents on this ship because it seems to think I have 109% ammo fuel, which is not correct. So right here we have the helper chat thing, helper whatever you want to call it. It tells you what the keyboard shortcuts are. And you can see like altitude hold at current altitude, altitude hold at 11%, autopilot to lower orbit height over atmosphere and orbit to target. And then autopilot in atmo to target. So these are different things you can see. Alt 5, lock pitch. Alt 7, toggle in-HUD sounds. Alt 8, toggle ground stabilization. Oh my god, I love this thing. This toggle ground stabilization, underwater flight. It's like you're in a freaking submarine, right? And 9, activate gyroscope, which this ship doesn't have, so it doesn't matter. And then left alt, tap to shift free look on and off, and shift hold two commands, right? And then you can type in /commands or /help in Lua chat to see text commands. So that's what we got going on over here. Over here we have our altitude. Over here we have our speed and our speed limit and our throttle level, right? And this is a graphical representation of the throttle. If I throttle up, you see it throttles up, right? Right here we have our degree of ascent or descent, and down here we have our roll degree. And then this is kind of our artificial horizon line right here. So if it's straight, you're straight. If it's not, you're not. Other things, we have some stuff up here at the top. We have our degree here, which is kind of hard to see in this light. Let me look at the ground here. You can kind of see it better, right? We have our max brake, required thrust, max thrust, mass, max mass, and this is kind of a guesstimate, so don't base your stuff off of this. So right now it says my max mass is 549 tons. Ish on this ship, so that's pretty close. We have our total time, we have our trip time. This will display how far your kilometers have gone, and this will display lifetime. And then you have your atmosphere here, which is 0.99. But you also have that information here, so you don't really have to look up that, right? So just tons of information everywhere, and all that stuff, right? So if we hit Alt, by default we have free look enabled. If you're using mouse mode, you might not have free look enabled. If you hit Alt, you'll get a black circle right in the front, in the middle there, right? You can see right here that there's a black circle. So that locks you out into, it locks free look, but it also allows you to open the menu system. That's the word I was looking for, right? So if I try to use the menu system, which is holding down shift, it doesn't work right now. You can hear me tapping the key, nothing, right? If I hit Alt first and you get that black dot, now that I press this, you have a bunch of options up here. So by here, you can change all these things. And the thing I love about ArchHud as well is that if I change these, it will remember my change. So if I get out of the ship and I come back, I don't have to enable brake toggle every single time. If I change my current control scheme, it will remember that every single time. If I go up here and I click hide help to get rid of that help blurb over there, it will remember that, etc., right? Oof, 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 oof. And it kind of looks like you're having an FPS issue right here, but it's just the way the menu works, right? So let's turn that back on. If I go to view settings right here, and I'm not clicking anything, mind you. With the menu system, you just have to hover over and then let go of the shift button. So this is all of the options when we go into show that, right? If you have SatNav installed, you can enable it. You can enable intruder alert system, which just tells you if there's extra weight on your ship that was not intended. What's cockpit? Oh, it just hides. What did I do? Oh, Lordy, how do I get it back? How do I get it back? Archeggio, how do I get it back? I don't know what I just did. Okay, so after looking into that, that is only supposed to be turned on if you're using a cockpit, which is the wonky little fighter cockpit thing that goes on ships. I should not have clicked that. So the more you know, right? Okay, so let's go back here. Voices, alerts, etc. I don't have the sound pack hooked up, so that's not gonna. But anyway, there's a ton of stuff in here that you can turn on and off. Atmos speed assist, etc., right? And you can go through this, and then you have like handling settings, which just show you what your handling is set at, right? You have your HUD settings, which tell you what your HUD is. You have your physics settings, which tell you what your physics is. Do I ever use those? No. You can if you want to. So let's get in the air. As with the other HUD, you just hit G to get off the ground, and then hit Control to remove your brake and throttle up, right? So the first thing I want to show you is this Alt 8, because that is a new feature that I am in love with, and yeah, if you're in love with it, you should marry it. Well, I just might, right? Auto takeoff if below hover height. Oh, that just popped up. So the help thing is situational. That's good to know. Okay, so normally if you try to land on the water, like I hit G right now, right, it's just gonna hover above the surface right here, and it's not gonna let you go lower unless you hold down C, and then it will let you go lower, right? So if I do Alt 8, decouple mode, ground stabilization off, then I can just decrease my height by holding C, and if I release it, it just stays there. It's not going to pop me back to the surface or anything, right? So now I'm under the water, and I'm just kind of floating here, right? And I can throttle up, and I can fly around under the water like this, like I'm a freaking submarine. So if you're trying to get to a mining node under here, this is awesome. Let me not go too fast because I want to slam into the bottom, right? So you can just find where you want to go, do your landing, and not worry about it, right? And then if you're done with that, you hit Alt 8, and it goes back to normal mode and pops you out of the water like you're a submarine shooting at the surface, right? Okay. So let's go. If you have a height set, you can, hit Alt 4, only when you're in near the ground, I think. So G to brake land, right? So let's go over here. I'm gonna go ahead and brake land. Somebody's got a landing platform here and a wonky looking ship. That's not bad. I like the lines. So you can see right here, auto takeoff if below hover height, right? So let's hit Alt 4. Is it Alt 4 or Alt 6? Oh, it's Alt 6. And if I just throttle up, it's going to go to whatever I set my takeoff height to in the settings, which was 1 kilometer. So it's just going to go up to 1 kilometer and hold me there, right? The one I like most of the time is I'll just take off normally, and then I'll hit Alt 6.6, which goes to 11% atmosphere. So if I just go Alt 6.6 right now, it's going to take me up to 3.36 kilometers, which is 11% atmosphere, and it's just below the point where you're going to end up going into space. So that is my favorite thing. If there's a height that you would like to hold, you could just hit Alt 6 normally, right, to hold your height. You can also use Alt and C to decrease your height on your hold. You can hold Alt and spacebar to increase your height. So if we wanted to do 3 kilometers instead, we can just set that to 3 kilometers. And it tells you right there on the conditional, right? If you're still trying to learn this thing, it tells you right here on the conditional, Alt spacebar and Alt C to raise and lower your height. So this thing pretty much tells you like everything you can possibly do. And you're pretty good to use it. I mean, depending on the size of your ship, I wouldn't try to do like a brake landing while you're completely full. You'll just slam into the ground and things like that. So again, situational, but it's pretty good. I'm not really going to talk about the autopilot because I don't use it very much anymore. It's easier just for me to hit Alt-6 and lock my altitude and point at what I want to go to. But if you want to check out, I know I said I wouldn't compare it to the other video, but if you want to check out how the autopilot works, you can compare it to the other video. If you hold Alt-1, and not hold Alt-1, but if you tap Alt-1, you can cycle through your interplanetary helper down here at the bottom, and set like different destinations. If I wanted to go to Locobus, I could set that, and then if I turn on my autopilot, it would go there, right? Which I believe is Alt-4-4, and that's to target, right? So if I had a target, it would just hit Alt-4 to autopilot to that target. Yeah, new destination waypoint. So Alt-4-4 is going to send me into orbit. So if you wanted to automatically go into an orbital trajectory, you could do that. Pretty much wants to shoot you straight up. So I think that's in the settings too, your ascent rate, right? I'm still going up though, so it's not really hampering my my ability to go up and down. Let's take a look at some of this other stuff. You go to Lua, you can type in /help, right? It'll bring up a bunch of stuff that you can do, that you can type into the console. Manually set target height, allocate safe zone center, blah blah blah. There's a bunch of stuff in there, right? And then also if you type /commands, you get the same stuff, it looks like. Yeah, so it looks like help and /commands do the same thing. Adds a temporary waypoint that is not saved to the data blank with name OT temp. Oh, interesting. So let me try this. I'm going to open up my map and I'm going to copy the location of this, copy coordinates, right? All right, I'm going to try this out. /pos added temp save location planet Alioth, and then if I go into my thing here and I go to, oh, I gotta find it in the interplanetary helper. Alt-1. There we go. So let's find this in the interplanetary helper, 0 temp. There it is, down there at the bottom right. Now it should, if I engage autopilot, take me straight there. And approach and land. And all that stuff. So that is super handy. I like that. Add location, safe zone center, POS adds a save location by waypoint, not as accurate as marking one at location. So add location, so you can add location, so let's try that too. /add location. We're gonna call this Chimera HQ and post that, and boom, added Chimera HQ to save locations. Okay, so yeah, you don't need to put down a core anymore to do the autopilot thing. You can just do that. And if I use the, oh, I can't flip on interplanetary helper, but it should be in my interplanetary helper now as a waypoint. So that is super handy. I actually did not know about that. I really like that. What's the last one? Something about IPH waypoint. Displays current IPH as target, POS waypoint, and Lua chat. Okay. Not exactly sure what that does. So what's it gonna do here when it gets to the waypoint? It's gonna fly completely past it. Okay, well. That didn't work as well as I would have liked. Let's try this again. I'm going to use my new bookmark called Chimera HQ. Let's try this again. It should turn me and point me there, right? Let's see. Can Alt Shift engage autopilot. Maybe it won't do it from orbit, I think is the thing, maybe. Or it doesn't land you anymore. I'm not sure. But let's see. We've got 27 kilometers. It's not much. We'll see what happens when we get there, whether or not it lands or not. Okay. So apparently it goes towards the waypoint, but it doesn't land you anymore. It just basically points you at it and then does an altitude hold. This is fun though. It's just gonna circle the target. Yeah, anyway, handy, but yeah, it does not land you like the previous altitude holds. So I guess you still kind of need to put a core down if you want it to land you, I guess. So that'll be my video for today. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It really helps out in terms of YouTube algorithms. If you would like to subscribe, please do so, and don't forget to hit the notification button to be notified every time I post a new video. Hopefully you found this helpful. If there's anything else that you would like to know that I haven't covered already in my other videos, go ahead and drop a comment in the comment section. I probably will be doing a building like tips and tricks video coming up now that I have been building for a while, and there's a couple things that I know about that could probably be helpful to people starting out. Otherwise, I will see you out there in space. Stay safe, my friends.